Good evening, this is Brass Tacks. I'm Zaka Jacob. The BBC documentary on the 2002 Gujarat riots, which has been blocked by the government, has now become a huge friction point in campuses across the country. From the JNU, where this documentary was not allowed to be screened yesterday, students are alleging that the power was deliberately cut. Jamia Millia today, where the gates were closed and the students told not to screen the documentary. The question is, why are these students insisting on playing this documentary when it's been blocked by the state and their respective college administrations? What is the purpose when no new fact has been brought to light regarding Gujarat 2002 riots? And to the government, what are they so afraid of? Why not allow this documentary to be screened? Because have they ended up giving more publicity to this documentary by actively seeking to block it? But first, the story.
Protests, sloganeering and detentions outside Delhi's Jamia Millia Islamia University. The trigger was a plan to see the controversial BBC documentary on Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Before the film could be screened, police in riot gear reached the gates of the college. And dozens of students, including members of the Students' Federation of India, were hauled away.
इसमें एक बार फिर से कुछ कार्यकर्ताओं को हिरासत में लिया गया है। एक के बाद एक यहाँ पर डिटेंशन है वो लगातार यहाँ पर जारी है दिल्ली पुलिस की तरफ से, और एक के बाद एक यहाँ पर जो कार्यकर्ता प्रदर्शन करने पहुंच रहे हैं उनको हिरासत में लेकर यहाँ से लेकर जाया जा रहा है।
Jamia authorities said they will not allow any unauthorized gatherings on campus. Only students appearing for examinations will be allowed inside. But even within that, confusion reigned.
पर आप गार्ड साहब से पूछेंगे रीजन क्या हमें एंट्री नहीं देने का, अगर ऐसा कुछ वैल्यू है तो वो ऑफिशियल नोटिस क्यों नहीं आया हमारा?
अच्छा, आप बस एंट्री लेना चाहते हैं।
A similar screening organised by some students at the Jawaharlal Nehru University was disrupted on Tuesday. Electricity and internet were turned off in the Students' Union office, and students ended up watching the film on their phones. But later at night, JNU students marched towards the police station, claiming stone pelting by members of the ABVP. Some colleges in Kerala have also gone ahead with the screening of the documentary, despite the centre blocking tweets and videos on it. While the opposition has questioned the centre's move, Anil Antony, son of Congress veteran A.K. Antony, quit the party, alleging intolerant calls to retract a tweet in which he had defied Congress's stand and slammed the BBC documentary.
I would say that it is against everything Mr. Rahul Gandhi actually stands for. Where, let's say, I made this tweet and then in the next 3, 4, 5 hours I have pressure from a lot of places saying that I should either retract my tweet or I should, let's say, give another explanation countering it. I said I'm not going to do it because at the end of the day I haven't said anything which is against the policy of the party in any manner.
The fact of the matter is that the highest court of the land has exonerated the Prime Minister over the 2002 Gujarat riots. So is there a vested interest behind the dissent?
All right, so is there vested interest at play behind this seeming dissent? The question to the students, what new fact is this documentary bringing forth any more than what the Supreme Court of India looked into and exonerated the then Chief Minister of Gujarat? And to the government, by actually blocking it and seeking to actively block it, are you ending up giving it more oxygen than it deserves? Let me now go across to our guests who are joining us. Dr. Nadan Mehta is the author of the new book, The New BJP. America Narayanan is Congress leader, Ishkiran Bandari lawyer. Manjul Pawar is a councillor with the ABVP at JNU, and Dipshita Dhar is All India Joint Secretary of the SFI. Dr. Nadan Mehta, let me start with you first. The government says it has not banned this documentary. What it has done, it is blocked this as per Section 16 of the Information Technology Rules 2021, which says that the government has the powers to restrict the spread of any content that is deemed politically sensitive or which could lead to a law and order situation or create communal disturbance. Does this defense cut ice for the amount of, blocking that the government is actively trying to do on social media platforms of this documentary?
So I think in terms of the narrative of the BBC documentary, I mean there are it's clearly a very clear the narrative that's been put out is essentially a political narrative. Now that you can have a view on, but fundamentally when you clamp down and when you stop access to something, typically it actually increases the spread on them. Many people who would never have heard of the documentary before, who would have had no interest, are going to now are now going to watch it. It's now becoming a much bigger thing than what it already was. Now, what is the politics of this? I think. I don't think anybody wants to see violence on our campuses. I think for a film, you don't really want to see students. You don't really want to see people getting into slugfest and so on. But at the bottom of it, if you polarization is something from on the issue of 2002, there is a narrative here that look. What happened in 2002 was debated in the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court gave a judgment. There was an amicus curiae. There were multiple petitions, and the Supreme Court gave a very clear judgment. Now, if you are going to not use that in the documentary, then there is a problem of narratives. Now, politically, when this plays out, it allows I'm keeping aside the question of banning and so on. It allows the government to say it. I mean, politically, Mr. Modi's always played the card of the outsider, not wanted by the elites. That has very much been part of his narrative to his core constituency from 2002 onwards, and this is going to play.
I think one of the points that you made that
however,
if the Supreme Court
banning is not a very good thing.
Yeah, if the Supreme Court has gone into the merits of this matter, there was an SIT that was constituted. In the end of it, there was this verdict that came out last year, which adjudicated upon that matter. And if that has not been mentioned in this documentary, like I said, I haven't watched this documentary. I don't know if Nalin has, but from whatever we've heard, that has not been mentioned in this documentary. That signals a mala fide intent. Why would you not mention that in the documentary? That is material fact into what happened in 2002. That is a material conclusion that no less than the Supreme Court has has looked into and arrived at. But be that as it may, I want to go across to America, Narayanan. I've got a couple of questions to you, Mr. Narayanan. First things first, though. There was a young leader of your party, Mr. Anil Antony. He's the son of your veteran leader, A.K. Antony. He put out a certain view on Twitter. You can agree with him, you can disagree with him, all that is fine. But today, he was in a position to quit from the party because of the amount of hate that he was getting, as he claims, from congressmen and women to the tweet and the position that he put in the public domain. That is not what Rahul Gandhi is standing for or the Bharat Jodo is standing for. So in a sense, it's a paradox. You have a young leader of your party putting out his thoughts on this. Instead of saying, okay, let's agree to disagree, he's been hounded to retract it, and now subsequently he's tendered in his resignation.
Well, I'm surprised that he has tendered a resignation. I don't know whether he has.
He has.
After
he's
you
made
letting
public,
me
yes.
know that he's son of... Okay, second thing is, only after you letting me know he's A.K. Antony's son, I knew that he's the former Chief Minister's son. Mm-hmm. Let me tell you something. I have openly criticized Rahul Gandhi's inability to get the votes for the Congress. In spite of that, I have not been sent out of Congress, and Congress is only the Democratic Party. If I had done that in any other party, I will not be in that party today.
So why is this young man then being forced to quit, Mr. Narayanan? Surely there must be a reason.
No, wait. Let me answer that. There are a lot of people who criticize me for having criticized Rahul Gandhi. Mm-hmm. But neither the Congress High Command nor the Tamil Nadu Congress Committee, which has taken me from the position of official spokesperson, has sent me a saying that I have to get out of the party, or they did not dismiss me from the party. I still vocally support Congress on several issues, and this is the most democratic party you will find, and that's what Rahul Gandhi has done.
So you don't find any contradiction
that
between
he can
what
get the people united in the nation,
between
and
what
unite
Mr.
the
Gandhi
nation.
is trying to do, or
So
he's saying
there are a lot of
that he's
people
doing, And what has happened to this young Congress leader?
Please let me finish up.
Sure. Go ahead.
Please let me finish up. I'm answering that. Several people will criticize you when you are in the public. If you can't take the heat, you should be getting out of the kitchen. But the party officially has not criticized him, and that's the official stand of the party.
Okay.
If he does not understand that, it is his problem, not the Congress problem.
Okay, let me ask Ishkaran Bhandari. I want to move away from this Congress narrative. Now, one of the things that the government has said is that the Western media, in their view, has a biased perspective, particularly against Mr. Modi and his government and his policies. In May 2019, for example, the Time magazine had a cover calling Modi India's divider-in-chief. In 2020, The Economist magazine ran a cover saying the BJP's poll tactics are political poison. In 2022, the New York Times had a piece with the title, Modi's India is where democracy dies. The BJP and the NDA government believe that all of this is from a certain agenda, a certain colored view, and that, it only puts out their perspective of what they think is happening here in India. It discounts, according to the BJP, two very, very big mandates given by the people of India to Mr. Modi in 2014 and in 2019.
For that, let me finish up.
Ishkaran, you have to unmute yourself, please. All right, I can't hear Ishkaran. Let me try and see if we can go back to him. But in the meanwhile, let me put that question.
Hear you now.
All right, let me go to Manjul Pawar and to Dipshita Dhar while we fix Ishkaran's audio.
Hello.
All right, Ishkaran is back. Okay, Ishkaran, go ahead. Yeah.
They can't hear me. Hi.
Yes, Ishkaran, go ahead.
They said
Can
they
you hear
can't
me?
hear me.
Yeah. Now I can hear you. Yes, go ahead.
All right. Zaka, let's deal
Can
with
you
it
hear me?
piece by piece. So does a section of Western media, like BBC, have an agenda against the Prime Minister? Of course they have. In fact, you give very serious examples. I will give you a very frivolous example, but which shows the amount of derangement they have. New York Times food critic, asked to write 10 recipes of India, goes into a rant on how Hindutva government, how Prime Minister Modi is affecting, and how it is difficult for him to write an article on food without referring to the Hindutva government in power, and the editors allow that to be published. Now, if that is not derangement, I do not know what is derangement. Is Modi to be blamed for the food recipe or an egg curry not coming out nicely for you? But that is an example of it. But the other aspect of it is the Supreme Court of India has given a decision. More important than that, and I say more important than that, Congress was in power from 2004 to 2014, so it cannot be a case that the central agencies were not probing the matter with all seriousness. Even then, even having him as a target number one, they could find no evidence against him. No court found an iota of evidence against him. That should have been enough. Now when we come to bans, I as an individual and anybody who operates on social media knows bans are counterproductive. They never work. The famous case of Barbara Streisand, where somebody took pictures of coastal California, including her house, posted on the internet. She wanted it to be banned. Before the ban, only 6 people had downloaded it, including her lawyer. After her petition to ban it, 4 lakh people downloaded it. So bans are silly. Bans do not work. Bans should not be operated at. That is apart from the fact that BBC is doing a propaganda garbage piece, and it should have been treated as that.
Okay. So let me ask Dipshita Dhar. As Ishkaran said, it's a propaganda piece, it's garbage. But Dipshita, I want to ask you two things. There's no new material fact in this documentary, as many people have said. There's nothing new that they have revealed about the 2002 Gujarat riots. And surely BBC or any media organization's sort of account of events can't be more credible or can't be more authentic than what the Supreme Court verdict is. The Supreme Court appointed an SIT and they went into every single case that was associated with the 2002 Gujarat riots. And the court verdict came out last year. I'll read portions of it, but go ahead first and answer the question I asked. Yes, thank you.
No, my question is then what exactly is the thing that the BJP government and their supporter is uncomfortable with? If they think whatever has been made is a trash, is completely baseless, let the people judge it. Narendra Modi, as you said, that he actually got to very big verdict. Who are the people who have elected him to be the Prime Minister? The people of India, right? So if he cannot have a faith on the people who have voted him as a prime minister, let them see that documentary and judge. If they think that it's a trash, they're not going to look into it. If they think there is some substance, they will look into it. We are not saying that we have to go and support, the documentary that is made by BBC. None of us are here saying that BBC is a sane body that need to be upheld, that need to be, sensitized. What we are saying that something has come up, a very political content has come up. Let the people see, let the students see, let them have a judgment. If you look at how the administration and the government is trying to curtail down all the screening that is happening in Hyderabad Central University, in Jamia Millia Islamia, in Delhi University, in JNU, in Pondicherry University, everywhere the ABVP is trying to create a ruckus. The lights were cut abruptly. What is this fear? In many places, people are saying that it is going to create a disharmony between people.
I'll ask Manjul Pawar of the ABVP, why his organization is alleged to be going overboard. But some would say, why should campuses be places where movies and documentaries are being screened? If you want to watch it, you can watch it individually. But this public screening is just an attempt to try and fish in troubled waters.
JNU, it has a center called Center for Arts and Aesthetics. We have a course which called the.
They don't have an evidence against ABVP.
Okay, all right, Dipshita, give me a moment. Let Manjul. Okay, Dipshita, give me a moment. You made an allegation against ABVP. Let Manjul Pawar of the ABVP respond to that. Yeah, Manjul.
Yeah, first of all, these people alleging ABVP, they have not a single evidence against ABVP. While we have hundreds of photographs and proofs that outsider leftists were involved in this incident. We have already filed a complaint and you should be aware of it. I don't want to get into a personal scuffle here. I just want to
What happened to January 6th?
No, one second, guys, one second. This is not a JNU debate. You're on national television. There are rules here, one by one. So Manjul first, and then I'll come back to you, Dipshita.
Yeah, I want to make just 3 points. First of all, BBC hasn't dared to release that documentary, so-called documentary of theirs in India. BBC has itself not released its documentary in India. So what is the need of these people that they are downloading it from Telegram, from WhatsApp? They are using VPNs to download it.
No, the reason why they are doing that, Manjul, one second. The reason they are doing that is because the government has blocked it on YouTube and Twitter and other platforms where it was made available.
The question is, BBC hasn't released it in India. Question is, why BBC hasn't released it in India? Because it knows that the facts will debunk their lies.
Okay. Go on to your second point. Yeah.
What is this dying desire of these communists to publicize and to show this documentary all over India in the universities? Is there a hidden agenda, a hidden give and take pact between the BBC and the anti-national forces and the communists? This is a case of investigation. And number 3, the date when this documentary screening has happened in JNU, is it a coincidence that 4 days back on 19th, ABVP JNU had organized an event where Kashmiri Hindus were called in JNU and they spoke of their ordeal in front of 1,000 students. That shook the base of this communist and the jihadi nexus. And,
so let Dipshita respond. I think the second question. One second. I need to sort of equally divide time between the both of you.
26.
So Dipshita, why are you folks insisting, whether it's JNUSU, whether it's HCU, other university campuses, what is the need to have this documentary filmed? I mean, if students want to watch it on your laptops, watch it in your hostel rooms.
No, I think I want to thank Manjul because he made a very important point. He just, reminded all of us that the film named Kashmiri Files was screened few days back in JNU and a lot of people participated. We as activists, we as someone who believed in the secular ethos of this country, had political problem with the narrative, how it is being shown in that film. Can Manjul see a single person of the left or whoever he calls as, communist or anti-national, whatever, a single person have gone there, tried to disturb them, wave the black flag, even tried to raise a question, disrupt their program? Can he say that the way the JNU administration was cutting down the electricity of the whole campus, the similar thing was done when that film was being screened? Can he really say? We are saying that a film has come. A documentary has come
Okay,
which raised
Manjul,
very
quick response. If
uncomfortable
Kashmir Files
questions.
was allowed
We
to be
agree we not
was
agree
allowed to
with
be
the different
telecast
questions.
without any disruptions, then why not extend the same to this documentary? That's what
Because they are raising
Dipshita's
false
asking.
allegations against us.
What false allegations?
Exactly.
What is the false allegation, Manjul? Yeah, I'm coming to you, Ishkaran. Yeah.
Yeah, the false allegation is that the logic they are giving that Kashmir Files was shown. Kashmir Files is available in PVR. Any citizen of India can go and watch it in the theater.
It's not been blocked
Can any
as per
citizen of India
Section
watch
16 of the
BBC
IT Act.
documentary?
Okay, fair point. Okay,
We
Ishkaran wanted
don't
to
need
make
a
a point.
VPN app to watch the
Manjul, I've heard you.
Come in. Let me
Yes,
respond to
Ishkaran.
that.
Yeah.
Zaka, to the fundamental
Sir,
point, should
you have
campuses
not
be
given
used for this? First, let us, 1 second. To the fundamental point, should campuses be used for this? Firstly, there's a fundamental difference. Kashmir Files was duly passed by Censor Board, and it's a movie
Yeah,
of
it's not a
India
bad
which has
movie,
been
correct,
passed by versus a movie which is by BBC which has not reached
Yes.
India. So that's a fundamental difference. But to the larger point, Delhi police filed a charge sheet saying in which the JNU slogans have been elucidated. Go India, go back. Bharat टेढ़े टुकड़े होंगे. Bharat के मुल्क को एक झटका और दो, etc., etc. Should the campuses be used for politics, especially when a single student of JNU costs the taxpayer, you and me, 6.95 lakh rupees? That is meant to subsidize education, not for national political agitation. If you want to do national political agitation, please enter politics and do it. Don't use campus, don't use taxpayers funded money for your political propaganda, which you want to do once you pass out of JNU. That is a simple request as a citizen, as a taxpayer of this country.
Okay, I want to go back to America Narayanan. Mr. Narayanan, I'm going to list out the number of movies or documentaries that were banned when the Congress was in power. In 2004, Final Solution, which was a documentary about the 2002 Gujarat riots, was banned when the UPA was in power in August of 2004. Black Friday, a film based on the 1993 bombings, was blocked by the Congress party in 2007 when the UPA was in power. Inshallah Football was a documentary about a Kashmiri football player, blocked by the Indian government in 2010. The Congress party was in power. And the Da Vinci Code, a famous Hollywood film, a book made into a film, that was banned in 2006, again by the Congress government, on the grounds that it hurt the sentiments of Christians. So, if the Congress government could ban n number of documentaries and movies on whatever pretext, and that was kosher, why can't the BJP do the same?
First thing, you want to quote somebody, two wrongs does not make a thing right. I am of the opinion, personally, that the government does not have any business. But in this case, it's worse because there is a personal interest of the current Prime Minister, who was the Chief Minister, who looked away and was chided, as a matter of fact, about to be dismissed by the Prime Minister Vajpayee at that time, saying it is not Raj Dharma. So let's be clear. Let's equate the things of the same bad things in a...
on the face of it, when your party is in power, you're banning movies and that's okay.
Or other
but when the BJP is in power and they ban movies, that's not okay.
I mean,
it's an apples to apples comparison.
I did not say that. Please listen to me. I first said even that should not have been done, number one. But this is a worse situation. You cannot compare. There it was done based on the law and order situation it might create, and I think they should have let that happen. However, this one is a personal allegation against the Prime Minister. We could see in the photograph that's being taking the rounds today, where the police were just spectators. They did not even try and drive the rioters who were attacking the property and killing the people.
Supreme Court.
No, that's a fact.
Just
because the Supreme Court
special
has said that,
investigation team, there were amicus curiae, as I remember, two of them at least, who went into these cases. And I'll read from portions of the Supreme Court judgment, and I want Nalan Mehta to weigh in on this.
I will
this
answer
was
that.
one second, Mr. Narayanan, 1 second. I'm going to Nalan
that.
Mehta. I'm going to Nalan Mehta, please. Yes. This is what the court said in its judgment last year. The plea that was filed was to quote-unquote keep the pot boiling, obviously for ulterior design. It also said that these were strong comments that were borrowed from arguments made by the Special Investigation Team. Of course, the SIT was appointed and monitored by the Supreme Court. all those involved in such abusive process need to be in the dock and proceeded with in accordance with the law. This is what the Supreme Court, the highest court of the land, came to a conclusion on the 2002 riots.
Zaka, may I say something here?
Yeah, go ahead, yeah. Go ahead, Nalin, I can hear you. Go ahead, yeah.
The entire legal case on the Gujarat riots of 2002, it went through an SIT, and that SIT was under the aegis of the Supreme Court at a time when the Congress regime was in power across two different regimes. Now the fact of the matter is, legally, I'm not sure what I really don't understand what the big fuss is all about, because legally 2002, whatever one's views on it, and people can have different views on it, legally the matter was settled by the Supreme Court judgment as you quoted. There was an SIT, there was a amicus curiae, and after that, and multiple petitions have been put aside by the Supreme Court. That matter has been settled. And politically, apart from the legal point of view, different elections outside of Gujarat at the national level, that has also been settled, that this is not, while this may continue to animate a large numbers of people, a lot of people may not agree with the Supreme Court judgments, but the matter was legally settled first, and then and simultaneously politically it has been settled as well. It's not been a political issue for a very long time, including in 2019 in the national elections. So I'm not really sure at all that if you're going to say that, look, a documentary comes up, it regurgitates some of these old charges and so on, that's going to change the political firmament. It's not. Because this matter has been debated ad nauseum more than any other riot in Indian history.
I'll give Ishkaran the final word. Again, what the government is saying is, yes, the free press is free to write whatever it feels, and not everybody is going to agree with the government's point of view or its narrative.
And Modi quoted BBC all the time.
Yeah, what it is asking though is, it's fine when you're writing about social issues and communal issues and the tensions that we are seeing or whatever, but there is just not enough attention given or enough coverage given to the positive developments. I mean, whether it is economic, whether it is some of these welfare schemes. Is that a right narrative? Is that a fair grouse to have, or is that unfounded? Because ultimately, the media is going to talk about stuff that cannot necessarily be controlled by the government.
I completely agree with you on that point, because controversy sells more than bread and butter development issues or infrastructure issues. Margaret Thatcher used to famously say, economy is page 5 and public issues or those issues are page 1. So that is, of course, going to happen in media. Media has to see what audiences find more interesting and more informative. Both ways. But on this BBC thing, I'll only say one thing. I'm not in favor of bans, but equally I'm not in favor of campuses funded by taxpayers' money, using that campus for furthering their political career. That is detrimental to India, and that should not be done.
All right, we'll leave it at that. I'm completely out of time. Thank you very much to all our guests for joining us. We'll see how this story plays out. I think it has begun to sort of whirl around in campuses, in JNU certainly, in Jamia Millia. Which other campuses it could likely sort of start circling around in, we'll wait and see. But it doesn't seem like this controversy is going to blow away anytime soon. We're getting a piece of breaking news, and that's why I had to curtail the debate. Let me go across to that. The Enforcement Directorate has now come out and accused the Aam Aadmi Party of using money from the alleged Delhi liquor scam in last year's assembly elections in Goa. Now, this is as per the charge sheet that's been filed by the Enforcement Directorate against one of the main accused in that case, Vijay Nair. The ED claims that huge amounts of cash were paid to AAP volunteers in Goa. Some of these funds were proceeds from that Liquorgate scandal. Ashish Mershi has more details on this. Ashish, so does the charge sheet also mention how the ED is putting 2 and 2 together, proceeds of crime going into election campaigning?
So, Zaka, there was a company called Chariot Media, which was hired for campaigning in Goa. That is what the Enforcement Directorate claims. There is a sub-vendor of Chariot Media called Manaswini. Now, she, in her statement before the prevention, before the ED, we all know that any statement under Prevention of Money Laundering Act is basically admissible in the court of law. And here, Manaswini, who's worked for Chariot Media as a sub-vendor, she has given a statement before the Enforcement Directorate saying that huge amount of cash was given to her because she was given the job to hire volunteers, and volunteers were basically paid amount in cash. And this money was basically handed over by Vijay Nair, and this money basically came into the hands of Vijay Nair because this is basically the alleged money, or you can say the bribe money that was basically that came from the liquor scam. So that is what the Enforcement Directorate is claiming, and this is part of the charge sheet that has been filed against Vijay Nair, and the court in all likelihood will take cognizance of this charge sheet on the 28th.
All right, we'll leave it at that. Thank you very much, Ashish Maharshi, for joining us. What we're going to do right now is to take a quick break. When we come back on the other side, India has formally extended an invitation to Pakistan for the SCO Foreign Ministers meeting in May. Is this a signal of a reset in ties, or is this simply a part of a multilateral invitation in which all members have to attend? Quick break. We'll see you on the other side.